how you introduce yourself is quite fascinating. I made my first $1 million at the age of 20.
Before I was 28, yeah.
8?
Yes.
Right? But I was broke from when I was a child
when I was 25.
So when I was 25 and all of that. And then I just made the decision. Can you tell me that backstory?
Like I said, I was raised in a family where we are bookish. And so you find out that book is a normal thing in my household. But then money was not. And so we grew up being, intellectually sound, but financially dull. And I said to myself, truly, Tade, you are not dull. You are intelligent. You are sound. But what happened is that you need to prove to yourself that what you know works. And how do you prove to yourself what you know works? You need to take action on it. What I was missing at that time is that I was not an action guy. I then realized that naturally life is hard, get used to it, just find a way to scale it. I started learning to sell at the age of 13. I knew how to sell. I was not a guy that was afraid of selling. Selling is not a luxury, it's a necessity for survival. If you want to survive, you sell. If you want to thrive, you sell more.
What if you want to skyrocket your income?
Yes, if you want to skyrocket your income, then because you are thriving, then you scale the money you're selling, begin to get more people to begin to sell what you're selling. And that is what it is. I tell people to come out of your financial problem, learn how to sell. Because there is nothing from the days of the Bible to the present days when God wants to save a man financially, he give him something to sell.
Hello everybody, and once again, welcome to another episode of the Entrepreneurs Connect Show. And as always, what we do here is interview African entrepreneurs across board, different niches, sectors, and industries to learn about their journey, their lessons they've learned, failures, successes, everything in between. And today's episode is power-packed. It's power-packed because we have a powerhouse. According to my brother right there, an ocean that never runs dry on set today. So I'm going to welcome the highly esteemed Tade Cash. Welcome to the show today. Sir, how are you doing?
I'm good. Thanks for having me here today. I'm so honored to be here.
And thank you, first of all, for honoring our invitation and your patience through the whole process.
We are here.
All right, so it's time for us to drink from this stream, this ocean, this well that is the fountain of Tade Cash knowledge right now. So the first question I'd like to ask you is, where does your story start? What is the Tade Cash story?
All right, so Tade Cash story started from when I was 13 years old. My mom happened to be a petty trader. And as a result of the situation, the economic position or situation at home, I happen to be the youngest of 6 children. So then I have to, by necessity, I have to start hawking bread for my mom and all of that. And so I started doing that. I didn't like it. It wasn't a lovely experience, but I get used to it. And in getting used to it, the most fascinating part of the whole experience is that I started meeting people. All right. So, and someone will have to buy something for me. Sometimes they don't want to buy it and I have to persuade them. I didn't know it was persuasion at that time. I just thought I have a tongue of the wise. All right. So, so I just started doing that. And so I grew up in that moment, in that environment where things are not that pleasant, there is no money, but you just have to figure out your way around life, And my parents have to keep me at home. They don't want you to relate with any other person, and all of that. But that is how the journey started for me, just trying to figure out what could be for me. And so I get exposed to money early as a result of selling for my mom. And then I realized that life without it is not really meaningful. So that was the journey for me when I started. I started just selling for my mom. And then I grew up doing that I sold for my mom actively for almost 10 years.
Wow, so from age 13?
Yes, so almost like when I was 20, 21, thereabout. That's when I stopped really selling for my mom, around 20. Thereabout. Yeah.
You've been selling for a long time.
Yes, I've been selling for a long time. So as a result of that, I then started realizing when I was doing that for my mom, some wonderful experience started happening. I grew up in that age where you do what we call street football. So as a result of doing street football, I was quite skillful in playing football. But I was not comfortable just playing football. I realized that during the normal summer break, we have to now have a way of playing football, and everybody have his own team, mini team here and there. And for me, I started saying, why should I just have a team? Why not control the entire team? So I became the guy that hosts the competition, whereby everybody will now have their own team, and then they will come with money. And as a result of doing all of that, I started having, getting people to give me money. And then I will also now put my own team without paying, you remember? Because I'm the one that is hosting the entire store on the street. And then as a result of that, at a very tender age, I became quite popular in the entire environment. And my own earthly father did not like that. Because a lot of people come to my house every day looking for me just to play football. And he was wondering, why are they looking for this boy? What's going on? I mean, in a day, you will have nothing less than maybe about 20 people coming to my father's house, asking for me that they have a tournament they need to play. And my father will start giving me some crash course on how there is no, godfather, and how do we want to be playing football when you're supposed to be reading your book? Who is going to put you on the national team? Who do you know? And so, but I was quite stubborn. I did not listen to him and all of that during those periods. And so I started having, I would sell for my mom early in the morning. In the afternoon, I would do street football during the break, and then in the evening, I would sell by the roadside for my mom. And so that was a life. On Christmas Day, I will have to go and look for how to sell for my mom, because that's how we get money to food. So those things build what I call tough skin. And that was where the journey started from for me. I then realized that naturally life is hard. Get used to it. Just find a way to scale it.
Life is hard.
Get used to it. Just find a way to scale it.
Find a way to scale it. Interesting. Let me take you back a little. Where did the name Tade Cash comes from? That Cash is just quite.
All right, so quite interesting. So wow, this is an exclusive one. So I started life not bearing cash. So my name is Tade Esson. Tade Esson is my name originally, and so I was bearing that name, and so at a point I was at the age of 24, 25, when I realized that one of the most interesting part of every wealthy person in the world is that you must create something that give you cash flow. And so I became a cash flow, preacher among my friends, among people, and all of that. And so everybody comes around me, and every time they are mentioning my name, they'll just say Tade Cash Flow. So after a while, and then I wanted to change my name to also give me a proper face, as it stands. And so I wanted to call myself Tade Cash Flow, which is not really making sense as a result of how you be a legal name that will be cash flow, in a country where cash flow cannot even be registered as a business except you have a 9 cent from CBN. So how do you want to bear that kind of name? So we just shortened the name. I just shortened the name to Tade Cash. And that was a period where I was also getting married, so my wife practically likes the name, oh, Cash, I think Cash is a good name. So that's how the name came. And the name, I love the name, not just for what the name is. It reminds me of the fact that the truth of the matter is we live on an economy planet. And this economy planet, money is not everything. Everything is money. That's the planet.
You have to explain that. Money is not everything.
Yes, money is not everything on this planet, but everything is money. So we are in a very lovely studio where we are having this Entrepreneurs Connect show. Now, everything in this room, as I see it today, everything here have money attached to it. And so even every human being that is here with us today have money attached to them. If they want to be here the way the Creator created them, they can't be in this studio. It will be an embarrassment to the eye, isn't it? So what happened is that money is not everything, but everything is money.
That makes sense.
That
makes sense.
So that's it.
That makes sense. So how you introduce yourself is quite fascinating. We had a conversation, not here right now, but yesterday, and there's something stood out for me first of how you introduce yourself. And so I made my first $1 million, and that's at the back of your book as well. I made my first $1 million at the age of 20.
Before I was 28,
8?
Yes.
Right? But I was broke from when I was a child.
When I was 25.
So when I was 25 and all of that. And then I just made the decision. Can you tell me that backstory?
Okay, so like I said, I was raised in a family where we are bookish.
Yeah.
You know, I have siblings that have several master degrees, and even me, I have 2 master's degrees. And so you find out that book is a normal thing in my household, but then money was not. And so we grew up being, you know, intellectually sound, but financially dull. And so as a result of that, I got to a point where being intelligent is becoming irritating. And I was at the moment of truth in my life where somebody insulted me at the age of 25 of how I was just reading books and just having books all around, and how is it making sense? Everything in this life is not intelligent. Everything in this life is not book. And I thank God for that moment where that man said all of those kind of things to me, because there was a moment of truth in my life. And then I went back home and I said, this man was right. The truth is I'm intelligent, but I'm broke. So what happened is that I needed to prove to myself that the intelligence that I have can be converted to currency. And so I made a decision that if I'm broke, it's my fault. And if I become wealthy, it's my fault. Then what did I realize? I realized a missing structure in my life at that time. That I was a guy that was having different truths, but was not testing the truth. I was having my life, my books. You know, I read quite a number of books. But when I was 25 years old, I was reading an average of almost 700 books a year. And that tells you...
That's quite a number.
Okay, you know, so I never knew it was a number. I was just an extremely fascinated guy, you know, that was just reading all of those things. But then when we have conversations, we sound very intelligent. You know, everybody like, wow, this guy is cerebral. This guy is good. But I was broke, my guy. And then at the age of 25, when I have this encounter, I went back home and I began to analyze things. And I said to myself, truly, Tade, you are not dull. You are intelligent. You are sound. But what happened is that you need to prove to yourself that what you know works. And how do you prove to yourself what you know works? You need to take action on it. What I was missing at that time is that I was not an action guy.
Okay.
I was not an action guy. I knew a lot of things that would have changed my life even before I was 25 years old. But I was not an action guy. I was just a theory guy. I was a guy that fascinated with ideas. I was a guy that just said, wow, this thing is lovely. And then when I speak among my folks, you know, on the fellowship, among my guys, I would speak to them. Everybody was like, wow, Tade, man, awesome. But then I would go back home broke. I still don't have any money. Then at 25, that's when I said, I will test the truth that I know. And that moment at 25, that is what the trajectory of my life started changing. Because then I stopped getting fascinated with reading a book. I then get fascinated with experimenting what I've read. And so I began to put to practice. And then I realized that what I've read all my life happened to be good, but it was not being good to me because I wasn't using it.
That's very, very, very interesting right there. You know, Jim Rohn has this quote that says, if your knowledge just leads to knowledge, you're a fool. But when your knowledge leads to action, then you can change your life. So
exactly. I think that's very quite important, because I started changing my life at that moment. Remember, I started learning to sell at the age of 13. So cognitively, I knew how to sell. I was not a guy that was afraid of selling. And then I discovered that at 25, I tried to audit my skill set. And then I realized that if I really want to have a break in my life, I needed to do this. And then prior to that moment, I met a man that I've written in one of my books. I call him my billionaire mentor. You know, I met him in a church. He was a wealthy man. He was rich, and then he knows God, and then he said he has figured Satan out. He said he has a confirmed relationship with God. He can never be broke. If he's broke, he can only be broke because he chooses to be broke. And then I got fascinated, and this man, I get closer to him. Now, the people of my age at that time were getting closer to him so that I can give them money. But I was not getting closer to him so that he can give me money. I remember one day he invited me to his office on the island, Victoria Island precisely. And when I got there, I didn't know what happened to me, but I thought, I knew later on that it was destiny. Because I said to him, I don't need your money. I need you what makes the money. And that moment I saw someone rolling on his chair and he was laughing. And that was the moment in my life where someone was holding me accountable. Tade, if you know this, then do this. You say, they don't ever come to my office if you have not done this. Then I always want to go to his office. Then if I want to go to his office, I want to testify. So I started acting. I started making steps. I started doing stuff. And I started seeing changes. Then at 26, I realized that I don't just want to make money. I want to make big money. Because the truth of the matter is you can be doing stuff in your life and you're just getting by. I want to get ahead. Now I've wasted time and I needed to collapse time. Yeah. And then I realized that one of the things that can collapse time for me is to make big money. Because big money help you to redeem time. And then that was what changed between 25. 25 was a moment of truth. And by the time I was 27, by 26, I realized that I needed to start selling something big. And then I started selling real estate because that's what I could lay my hands on, at that moment. And I started selling real estate. And in the space of 11 months of selling real estate, I made $1 million US. And that was the change moment for me.
Crazy.
Yes, and guess what? Before that time, I knew nothing about real estate. I've never sold real estate before. I didn't even know what a square meter was. I didn't know, but I just decided that, okay, I stumbled on it. It was not something I planned for. I stumbled on it, and then I just said, I'm going to do this. Let me do this. I need to make big money. And it changed everything in my life at that moment.
What was the mindset shift for you, from when you were not making any money until the point where you made your first $1 million?
The mindset shift for me was the fact that, remember, I read As a Man Thinketh before I was 18 years old. Now I'm 42. So imagine how old I was when I read As a Man Thinketh. I was very young. I was less than 18 when I read As a Man Thinketh. It was one of the first books beside the Bible that changed my life because I read the book and there is two lines in the book that never left me till date. Number one is that a man cannot travel within and stand still without. And he said that many people are so anxious to change their circumstances and they never change themselves. And as a result of that, their circumstances remain the same. And so those words were the word I was brewing on for many, many months. My brother and I, we even put it on a small shelf that our father owned, and we put it there, and it cannot travel within and stand still without. So I was changing. And then at a point, I realized that the missing structure of wealth, and in retrospect, I realized the missing structure of wealth is you can have a skill set and lack a mindset. And you can have a mindset and lack a skill set. So if you lack either of these two, if you don't have both, you can't do well. And so, and after having gotten the boat, you also need a vehicle. And many people, what happens is that they have good skill set, they have good mindset, but the vehicle is very small. And so they work, they labor, but they can't have a breakthrough. So the mindset that I had was this, that money is good for me, and money is not scarce, money is available, but I must position myself to have it. And so I started having those mindset. I started talking to my friends about it, even before money started showing up in my life. And some people see me as joke, even that I choke, and I'm still broke. So as a result of that, they're like, this guy just like talking. But then I love all of those, ridiculous statements and observations that were being given to me at that time because they helped me. Because I realized later on in life that for any truth to set you free, it must first piss you off. And so those guys were pissing me off by telling me the truth, that you're intelligent, but you're broke. It was a good feedback that was good for my life. And so I sat down at the moment and I felt like, okay, I think these guys were saying the truth, really. I know something, but I'm not doing anything. And that's what I still see today in the life of so many people, especially in the days of, you can Google it, and you can find some information and you can have it. And so people just want to sound intelligent, but they're not acting intelligently. And that was where I was at a time in my life. And I still find a lot of people there today. They were sounding intelligent, but they're not acting intelligently because the truth mindset for me was I begin to see that, I need to change my mind. I need to be comfortable with big things. I need to not just talk about big things, but I need to treat big things as a natural condition. So those things became how I was working on myself. And so because money will match your mind. So if you don't have a bigger mind, you cannot have a bigger
So how do you take your mind to that place? So for someone with a seemingly obscure background, right? How do you train yourself to get comfortable with big things?
So I changed my mind. I trained my mind because the mentor that I told you about told me at a very young age, I was 18, 19, when he told me that, Tade, you don't have a parent that can save you, but wisdom can save you. And most of the wisdom that can save you can be found in the pages of books. Until I met him, I never truly liked reading books. But then he told me that books were not something that I need to love to read. Book is what will make me love my life. So I started reading because I realized that the more I read, I began to see the stories of people that were even seemingly worse than mine, living in different nations, living in different places. And I discovered that if these guys can do it, I can. And I started forming different, model in my mind, because that's what really changed me. My environment could not, because my environment did not have anything to prove to me. My family, my parent, I grew up never seeing any family member with a car. That's how I grew up. I never knew any family with a car. I never knew any family that I could say that he owned a car. I never grew up seeing any family. So there was no sign of success anywhere. I only found it when I started going to church, and I see people come to church, have money. I was not fascinated with their money. I was fascinated with how they made the money, because I started reading at a very tender age. And I tell people till tomorrow, sometime when I'm alone, and I will start crying. I'm crying because I say, God, I'm grateful that you introduced me to ability to start reading books at a very young age, because I wonder where my life would have been today. Because the mindset shift started for me. And today, no matter how busy I am, at every single time in my life, you will find an average of 2 books, 3 books all around me. Because I realized that those are the things that changed me as I started my journey. And the mindset was big for me. The mindset was what made me say that I could make a lot of money. My mentor would say to me at that time that, Tade, it's more terrible to steal than to make money. It just made me believe that I could do it. And then I started reading, I started finding it. And later on, the missing structure was I was reading for so many years. I wasn't practicing because I just felt, we're just having ideas. I discuss ideas with my friends, but we're still broke. But then when I realized that I want to start putting these ideas to practice, brother, financial rapture happened in my life. Yes.
What's that concept, financial rapture?
Financial rapture is 2 friends sitting down together today. And then both of us, we were complaining about the economy is hard on us, as if the economy has never been hard. I love that saying from Ralph Waldo Emerson of 18th century. He said, show me in the history of human race when times has never been hard. So there was always no time that is... Every time has always been hard. It's just that hardship is relative. So the truth of the matter is, financial rapture is when 2 friends are broke today, but then both of them are exposed to the same concept. And one decided to take the concept and work on it, and his financial life changed right now. Both of them met tomorrow. They're not the same people sitting on the same table tomorrow. One has been raptured because now one has money, the other one did not have anything. But there are 2 friends. They are still friends. They are looking at each other. They are still talking. But then the decision that other one could not make yesterday, he can make it today. And the other one could not still make it today. Why? Something has happened. Financial rapture. 2 friends will be together. One has gone financially. He has traveled within. His life has changed. So I call it financial rapture. And every man must experience it, because rapture is real. And economic rapture is so real that many people are not experiencing it. And some people have experienced it. And that's what happened is that 2 friends are together, some people that you know, and you just need to make a financial decision. The guy, we need 1 million now. One said, where am I going to get it from? And we said, God, where do we send it to? And suddenly, there is a rapture. Because you have been raptured, you are not on the same level without that guy anymore. That guy thought we were still together because all of us are talking until this moment of truth happens. And so, financial rapture is real. And so I experienced financial rapture, and everything about my life just changed.
Would you say financial rapture comes from deliberately taking action?
Yes, that you shift. There is a shift in your life. You still look the same your clothes has not changed, but your ability to make financial decision has changed. Because your financial position has changed. But people still see you as the same person until when that moment of truth occurs. And then everybody is running out of scatter. But you can say, where are we running to? I can pay this bill. There's nothing there.
What role would you say learning how to sell has played in your journey so far?
The truth of the matter is, the blessing of the Lord maketh rich and hath no sorrow. And the blessing of the Lord is in selling. Because the selling is what activates the blessings of God. As far as human is concerned, if you want to be blessed and you are not selling, you will be stressed. So selling solves the problem. So selling is God's way of activating blessings upon human race. So if you don't know how to sell, like my guy would say to me, if you don't know how to sell, you will smell.
That sounds so much like one of my friends.
Okay. So if you don't know how to sell, you smell. And so what happened, and I tell people, this is economic planet. The only way you have economic inclusion on this planet is through selling. So the moment you hate selling, you are excluded on this planet. Why? Because transactions occur on this planet. And the only way you become part of transaction is through selling. So we must know how to sell. Selling, I think, economically, people have been shocked and have been, the economy have been rigged against people by someone telling people, by somebody saying that, oh, you don't need to learn how to sell. You don't need to sell. Because the truth of the matter, selling is not a luxury. It's a necessity for survival. If you want to survive, you sell. If you want to thrive, you sell more. And that is what it is. I tell people to come out of your financial problem, learn how to sell. Because there is nothing from the days of the Bible to the present days when God wants to save a man financially, he gives him something to sell.
If you want to survive, learn how to sell. If you want to thrive,
learn how to sell more.
Learn how to sell more.
Yeah.
What if you want to skyrocket your income?
Yes, if you want to skyrocket your income, then because you are thriving, then you scale the money you're selling, begin to get more people to begin to sell what you're selling. Because that means more people can also sell what you're selling, and therefore you scale. But selling is part of living. If you are not selling, you are not living. Because you have put a restriction on your expression. And that's what is happening to so many people. They put limitation on the expression because they don't know how to sell. Selling is a science of human action. So many entrepreneurs are struggling today because they don't know how to sell. You must sell to excel. So if you want to excel, you sell.
That's a drop point line for this place.
You sell to excel. Yeah.
So, book smart or street smart? Which do you think is more vital to succeed?
I'll tell you, if you have to pick one, which I think both should go, but if you have to pick one, it's street smart, all right? But if you have, I tell people that book gives you theory, street gives you the opportunity to practice it. And so having street alone without book also limits you.
Yeah.
Because what happens is that if you have street and you don't have book, then people become the book that you study. Therefore, you have to study people. And therefore, study still comes in it. So you must be a student. So what I tell people is that you must be a student of wealth for you to be wealthy. And therefore, it's not just in the pages of books, it's also in people. But many a time, the people that have also documented their stories are the people that you should also study so that you keep growing. Like before we came on site, I was telling my guy behind the scene, I said the truth of the matter is if you are not growing as a leader, your business cannot grow. If you are not growing as someone with a concept, the concept cannot grow because you put a limitation on your concept based on your own capacity. So the more you grow, the more your idea grows. So you learn. You must be a learner. You know, in every journey of life, you must be a learner. You must keep learning. You learn from your actions. You learn. So I tell people, have a position of a student for the rest of your life. Have a position of a learner for the rest of your life because those positions change your narratives and everything. Yeah.
So there's somebody watching this now trying to go into business for the very first time. And the person comes and says, Mr. Tade, this is what I'm doing right now. I'm trying to go into business. What are like the top 3 things you have that person do?
So the first thing that the person have to do if you want to go into business, you need to realize that business is a game. It's not a war. However, when you get into it, there will be some warfare, but it's a game. And so because it's a game, there are 3 parts of the games you must learn how to do. Number 1, you must learn how to generate customers. Customers acquisitions is the first part of the business. So if you cannot have customers, you are not in business. So that's number 1. So if you have a customer, then you must learn how to get the customer to keep coming, you know, again and again, because that's what's also going to affect your revenue for the business that you're doing. And then number 3, you must learn how to be able to put some level of margin on whatever that you're trying to sell. Now, what does that mean? It means that you must master the act of working with people at different levels. But business is a game of money. And therefore, money comes from people, through people, and by people. So business, if you're going to start a business, realize that You are not starting business for yourself. You're starting business for people. So people are the one that are going to pay you. So not that, oh, I love this thing, so I want to start it as a business. No, I'm happy that you love this thing, but you must also put people's interests into consideration for a business to be a business. Because most people really are not starting a business. They are starting an hobby.
Yeah.
And what's the difference between them? An hobby is something that costs you money. Business is something that makes you money. So many people start what is costing them money, and they're not making money because they just claim that it's my passion. Yes, find what people want to get done and passionately serve it with them. Where your passion is needed in business is not that your business should be the passion. Where your passion is needed in business is to find what the people want and passionately serve them. And that's what makes you run a business, what makes you grow a business. And so many people have not found a problem. They have not found how to create a business, how to resolving that problem to people. They just wake up one morning and say, oh, I just have a pleasure and I think this is what I love to do and I just want to do it. But business is good. Business is one of the surest ways to become wealthy. It's one of the surest ways to collapse your time. But remember, if you don't have a tough skin, if you don't have you're not tough-minded person, if you can't take some level of insult, business may not be very good for you.
So speaking of this passion conversation, a lot of people say, if you're not passionate about it, don't do it. If you're not passionate about it, your chance of succeeding are slim and all of that. So what's your opinion on this? Should people focus on only things they are passionate about, or should they focus on a market where there is a need instead?
I believe that people should focus on people, and so not on what they are just passionate about, because ultimately every business and every idea thrives on people. So when I wake up in the morning, I told you I studied economics, and I never knew anything about real estate or anything, but it's about the people. Business is about people. So what should I be passionate about? I should be passionate about the people's problem, think harder, longer, and deeper about what they are going through and how I can use my own strength and skill set to be able to meet it and solve it for them. And that is what business should be about. It's not necessarily... You and I know there are many businesses that started not the way they planned to. That's not where they started. Yeah. But today, they are multi-billion-dollar businesses doing something else. Because why? They focus on the focus, which is the people. What do people want? What do they really want to get resolved? And how can we use what we have today to resolve it for them? And that is what should be. Because many people get attached to the product. They don't get attached to the prospect problem. And therefore, the business they are trying to do has become 18th century. There is a 21st century need. And they're still focusing on the 18th century product rather than focusing on the 21st century wants, so that they can then make an adjustment to be able to resolve the issues for the people. So they hold on to it and say, man, things are not working. Things aren't working because the biggest issues and virus in business is indifference to the needs of the people that will pay you.
So, in other words, don't be passionate about products per se. Be passionate about solving problems.
Exactly, for the people.
That makes a lot of sense, because if you see somebody like Dangote, for example, the richest man in Africa, very big entrepreneur and all of that, you notice that he has different product lines, from salt to sugar to pasta to cement to very recently delving into oil refining and all of that. So if Dangote, for example, just said, oh, I'm passionate about salt, or it's cement I'm passionate about, and I don't want to do any other thing, then he won't be where he is today.
Yeah, correct.
So the passion is about actually entrepreneurship, solving problems. That will now create even more wealth opportunities for you.
Exactly.
And lead you to do
yes, because we're passionate about people. We want people, the DNA of an entrepreneur is that you want people to live well. You want to create transformation. You want to be able to solve problems for people and create a modern day civilization. That is who an entrepreneur is. Therefore, we use different vehicles to get to this destination. And so the vehicle that we use to get to this destination are often differs. But when we know that there is only one thing that is constant in all our transactions and conversation, which happen to be people. Therefore, we're not going to be attached to just one product and say, oh, if this is a product, this is why I came to the market. No, you didn't come to the market because of this product. You came to the market because you see this product as something that will resolve issues for people. Now, when this product stops resolving issues for people, then find something else that can resolve issues for people. Because the only constant thing happens to be people. And so that's why we're in business, to help people. And the more people we can help, the more financial honor we have.
So it's not just necessarily about doing what you love.
No, it's not what you love the people. Then use the product to serve the people. Because if you love the people, then you use the product to serve the people. Then many people have it in reverse. They love the product. They're indifferent about the people. And they are starving in business because they love their product, but they're indifferent about the people. It's the people you should love. Then use the product to serve the people. That is the game. That is what we are into. We love the people. You wake up in the morning and say, what is their problem now? What are they going through? I have a compassion towards the people. So when you have compassion toward the people, it will better vision for the people. Like, let's do this better for them. That's why we're having Entrepreneurs Connect show. There is a passion for entrepreneurs. Happen to be people. That is the name that we give to people that are running business. So, like, how can we help these people? Then you created a show. So it's about the people. It's about the people. It's not about the product. Because product does not have any meaning. It's only a delivery mechanism to serve the people. So if I don't have the people as my focus, I will be distracted with the product.
100%.
That's what's happening to many people
100%.
today.
So what does the word scale, S-C-A-L-E, mean to you? I'm asking the question in two ways. And then how can businesses scale?
So for businesses to scale, fundamentally, you have to get the fundamentals right. Today, the scale seems to be being like a buzzword for so many people. But when we talk about scale, we're talking about an exponential growth, whereby now I've started this particular business, and this particular business, I've gotten the fundamental right, that I needed to move it into a point where it is beyond me. And for me to have something that is beyond me, it involves team, it involves intelligent controls, it involves systems, and fundamentally, I have to realize that if I don't put all of these things in place, I will not be able to scale. But then it begins with getting the fundamental right. And the fundamental is about, what are we selling? Do we have a predictable income system for what we are selling? Then when we have been able to get it, because this will happen, you can have a cancerous growth, whereby you have not gotten the fundamental right and you're trying to move everywhere. And therefore, that becomes an headache, that becomes a stress, and that's what many people are going through today. And so for me, I believe in growth because I believe in freedom. My watchword in business is freedom lifestyle. I believe ability to create something to buy back your time and live life on your own terms. And so if I'm going to buy back my time and live life on my own terms, I need to scale. I need to be able to have a business that works in spite of me. So if the business can't work in spite of me, I cannot scale. But there are times when you have to realize that you need to take time to build the fundamentals, because every building is as beautiful as its foundation. And if the foundation is not right, there is nothing a right-minded person can do. Because you put the foundation right, then you go. I love building high-rise. If you want to build an high-rise, you need to go deeper with building the foundation. Now, when you're laying the foundation, it may look as if you are boring, but the foundation has to be put right. If you don't put the foundation right, you can't go in a skyscraper way. And so skyscraper is just like a language that we can use for scaling. Everybody now see us everywhere. We're scaling. People cannot come in and give us more money. People can now say, whoa, they're doing this with us. But what is your foundation? Foundation is boring. In construction, foundation is boring. But every building is as beautiful as its foundation. So if the foundation of the business is not put together, scaling becomes very difficult. So you need to scale, you need to build a team. You need to have processes in your business, which is system. And this is how I define system. System is a principle of order that render confusion impossible. So in other words, there cannot be success and confusion.
Can I take that again?
System.
That's a principle of order.
System is a principle of order that renders confusion impossible. Success and confusion can never be in the same place. In other words, you need to take confusion out of it. And system has an ingredient. I call it rave. So that means you must have something that, is ready to use. You must have accuracy.
Okay.
Therefore you must have value that you are delivering in the marketplace, and you must have something that other people can embrace. So that means that embraciveness must be there. So ready to use is very important. That means if I create, what is the readiness of your work? So do you have an emergency plan? If something happened, I'm not there, can somebody else quickly take it up and use it? A system must have that. There must be a level of accuracy. That means this is what we are doing. Because for you to call somebody a professional, it means that the person has a level of predictability. So there is accuracy. Therefore, there must be value. That means people must see value in all of these processes.
Yeah.
And therefore, there must then be an embraciveness. That means everything works together. There is comprehensiveness in the process. So if I can put that together, it can be said that is the ingredient of system. So I have a system in place that can then run things. It's a system of order, because wherever there is order, there is progress. Wherever there is no order, there is chaos. And you cannot have wealth and still be chaotic. It's not possible. So what happened to most people is that most people are just, thinking. You have to think systems. And to be candid with you, systems don't show up in just one day. But it begins with system thinking. That say that, okay, what are the routines in my life? Then systemize it. Then humanize the exceptions. Okay, these things, it's only me that can do it. But there are many things that other people can do. I tell people, if you are into sales, selling is a system. So you can document what you have done, and other people can duplicate it. So you must have a system of sales. You must have a system of operation. You must have all of those systems. You must have a system of sales. You must have a system for finance. If you still have to be the one that have to initiate payments in your organization, after a couple of years, you are not putting system. Because it's a system of order that renders confusion impossible. The more you reduce confusion, the more you increase your fortune. So many people don't reduce confusion in their lives, and therefore they're wondering why they're not increasing the fortune in their life. So for me, it's very important. Scaling and systems are Siamese twins. They're in the same WhatsApp group, and if you don't put them together, you can't go far. Yeah.
So when you're building your businesses, right, and you have to hire people, bring people on board, and all of that, what are the things that you consider before you hire staff?
For me, at the beginning, I made a lot of mistakes because I have this family life, perspective to things. But I realized later on, as a shock, that business is not family. Business is business. And so what that means is that it doesn't mean you are not friendly in business, but there are fundamentals in business. So what that means is, if you have a staff and the staff is not paid for 6 months, the question I want to ask is, will the staff still be working with you? 99% of time is a no. Why? Because the staff got to your organization to do a bidding and to get paid. So there is a contract, and the person is not wicked for leaving, because now the contract, there is a default in the contract. So what I say to people is that you must understand that when you are hiring people, you are not just hiring people to boost your ego. You're not hiring good people to put yourself in statistics and say that, right now we have 20 people working with us. Okay, our company is growing now. We have this number of people on our pay. No. Those are just vanity metrics. You hire people for two things. Number one, to buy back time, and number two, to be able to create things that can produce more. So you're buying back time. When I hire an EA, I'm not hiring an EA, so everybody say, he also has an EA. I'm buying back my time. So when I hire people for my social media content, I'm buying back my time. When I hire people in sales, I'm buying back my time. So you must have a focus. So for me, in retrospect, what I've learned in hiring people is that you hire the people that you deserve. And you hire the people that you deserve, because most people never hire with clarity. They just hire based on activity. You don't hire based on activity. You hire based on clarity of what you want to get done. And then when you know what you want to get done, then you go hire. Because you don't know that, because you are hiring to get things done, not just to have people around. Many people hire people that they are still the one doing the work. I was there once upon a time. You hire people, you're still the one doing the work that you're paying them for. They're getting paid for nothing. And I think it's one of the highest act of wickedness in the world, for you to get people hired that do nothing. and then you worried all night while the people ball all night. So you need to have clarity of purpose for you to hire well. And you need to know what you are hiring for. You are hiring to buy back your time and to be able to grow your business. That's why you hire, not for ego, not for boosting your ego, not for vanity metrics. And that's what I see today. People just, we have staff, So what are they doing? What are they contributing to the organization? And for me as well, I've also learned over the years that make sure that you create a profit model in your business. So if you are hiring people, they may not be entrepreneur. This is what I say to people. Everybody will not start a business, but everybody can do business. So not everybody will start business, but everybody can do business. So if everybody can do business, what I want to create is to create a system that make my team to do business.
A system inside of the business.
Yes.
Everybody gets benefits.
So that's where. So for me, in our organization today, we have about 4 streams of income that our team can benefit from. So we created those 4 streams of income, and there is. So when you come in, one of the things that we explain to you in our culture is to let you see that there are 4 streams of income. And I want to know. And secondly, I don't hire people that doesn't want to make a lot of money. I don't hire them. They are one of the virus of a business, because they get so comfortable with little, they get so comfortable with smallness, and it becomes a disease to your business. And so after a while, they're so okay with nothing. And because people cannot be motivated, they are already motivated. You just need to find what motivates them and appeal to it. So when somebody have nothing to move towards, you wake up every morning trying to push the person. And that is a problem on its own. So you must show the people that working with me can make you wealthy. And I learned that from Jesus. He said, follow me and I will make you fishers of men. In other words, what are you going to make of them when they come to work for you? You have to show them what you can make of them when they come to work for you. It must be part of your culture, and you must communicate it so well that this is it. And also let people realize that it's not easy working with you. There will be some ups and downs. There will be some challenges. You want to hire people that fit into that system. There are some businesses that are tough, naturally. And so when you now hire people that are very soft for a business that's tough, is the mismatch. And there will be a problem. And do not also be ashamed to fire, because hiring and firing are investment decision. So their investment decision is what you make when you hire. Firing is also an investment decision when you fire. Why? Because you just realize that the investment decision you make was wrong, so you need to cut out your losses. And that's what happened. So there is no shame. Just learn how to communicate the firing, because people must be fired. And by the way, you must also be working every single morning when you wake up as an entrepreneur. Ask yourself, who am I firing today? You wake up in the morning and ask yourself, who am I firing today? Say, okay, there's nobody to fire today. Okay, let's continue the work. So you move on. Because you see, sometimes you can get used to having people around that are doing
not
nothing.
Working.
And then you're not still.
I understand what you're saying very well.
So you have people around you that are not doing anything, but you now look like you are used to them.
Yeah.
You don't feel, how will you feel? My brother, do you want somebody tell me that statement? Because I've been there. Like, how would they feel when I hire them? My God, how would they feel when I don't pay the salary every month?
Yeah.
You see, it will not stay here. So, and firing you does not make you my enemy.
Yeah.
It doesn't just mean that you are not good for this place.
Right.
It doesn't necessarily mean you are not good. It just means you're not good for here. And then what I do is that I will have conversation with you and let you know, it's not that you're not good, but not for us. All right. So you are not, let me know how I can help you. But for this place, I'm sorry. And I'm not apologetic or sorrowful to ask you to go, because you are not good for this business. And I will be wicked to keep you here for us. Because everyone that you hire must be seen as a growth agent. And there are only 3 things that make a business grow: customer, revenue, and profit. If you cannot link your team member, no matter how minute their role is in the organization, to any of these 3 things, you're wasting your money, because they are not growing the business. And if someone is not growing the business, it's killing the business. And many entrepreneurs kill their own business by sentiment. Like, she has been here for a while now, and let's just keep him. No, we can't keep him. because it's not good having him here.
Yeah.
It's not good having her in the system.
Yeah.
So, but entrepreneur must kill sentiment as far as business is concerned because it's not working. And it has affected me. So I'm not just talking to entrepreneurs, I'm talking to myself, because at the same time, if you don't put this thing in place, when you start hiring people, remember that you hire to fire is part of the work. And it's an investment decision that you're making. Hiring is an investment decision. Firing is an investment decision. So it's like you make an investment, it's not working, and you're keeping it. It's not working. So let's cut our losses and move on. There's no reason keeping this investment. It's not working.
Makes sense.
We're losing money. It's an investment decision. And when someone comes into the organization, we have to let them know, you're here to make us money. We share the money with you. But you know what? If you're not making money, you go. Okay, I don't hire you for you to be my friend. And I don't hire you for me to be your friend. I will be friendly with you, but you're not my friend. You have your friend before you came. You will have them when you leave here. So all of this idea that, we're just family people. We're not family people. We're just business people. We're here together to do business. And, that is the problem with some of us that, we just want to be friendly with them. I'm friendly, but I'm not your friend. Yeah. It's just like I'm telling, my son is not my friend. My son, I'm friendly to my son. But my son is not my friend. I'm just friendly to my son. That's all. That's what I hold my son. I have my friends before my son came. But my son, I'm friendly to you. I'm not going to be hostile to So the same way, to everyone that works with us, we are friendly to them. We're not their friend. My brother, if the business is not working, they will go back to their friends, and some of them will still laugh over the business and say, well, guys, running that business. No makes sense at all. I don't really try to hire to tell her, but the thing is not working. But the truth is, I'm friendly to you. I'm not going to be hostile to anyone. Even when I'm asking you to go, I'm not going to say it in a derogatory manner. I'm just letting you realize that. It just means that this is what I want, but you're not giving it to me. Okay, so I want to grow the business. I hate failure. I hate failure. Failure is a sin to me. I hate it. I hate being poor. I hate small money. Therefore, I can't surround myself with people that are comfortable with those things. It's not a mixer. Sometimes I can have an error of judgment when I hire you. Because you tell me you have big thinking. Everything, and so it's not a sin that when I now found out, when I found out that you are not what you said you will say you are, and therefore I asked you to go because it's not making sense working together. And so when you have left, you are not my former employee, you're just my former student. You have graduated from my organization. Just there are people that left school without graduating. So as a result of that, that is what it is. So for me, that's what scaling, that's what employment is all about. That's what hiring people is all about. Hiring is a very fundamental part of an entrepreneurial journey. But many of us do it with sentiment. Don't hire with sentiment. Don't ever hire with sentiment. And that's what I see a lot of entrepreneurs doing today, especially startups and all of that. You're hiring with sentiment because you want to have a lot of people around. Some people that have 40 staff, 50 staff today, some of them can do better with just 20 of those people. Because there is no clarity of what to get done. So we just have more people and just think maybe we have some money to pay them. And then when we come in the morning, they feel our ego. They just stand up. Everybody greets you, man. Everywhere is full. As if it's a church. It's not a church, it's an enterprise.
Just to draw you back a little.
Okay.
So you've used this concept like 2-3 times now, and I want you to open it up before we wrap this episode up. Time collapse. I'm buying back time. You want to open it up to this? What does that mean?
Yes, because time is not money. We create money with time, but time is not money. So what happens is this. At the end of life, health and wealth have similarity. Only one similarity does wealth and health have. And that similarity is time. So if somebody shows up at the hospital and a doctor says he has 1 year to live, that means that guy only have 1 year of health to be able to live. Now, the same way with wealth. When you say someone is wealthy, it's about, can I make big amount of money in a short period of time? If you can make big amount of money in a short period of time, I went to run a training for an organization that pay me tens of millions for only 6 hours of training. Now, that is a collapse of time. Now, what happened is that somebody in that organization may work there a whole year and not make that kind of money. But then in 4 hours, they pay me that kind of money. So what happened is that I am looking for what can make me big amount of money in a short period of time. Why am I looking for that? Because I want to buy back my time. Because it's when I buy back my time that I will understand the true function of time. Time is life. The moment I say time is up, life is gone. Yeah. So what happens is that the more time I have, the more life that I have. So if I could have money and I still have time to do more things with my life, so why I'm hiring people is because why I want to make big money is because I want to collapse time. Why I'm hiring people is because I want to buy back time. So I want to be able to buy back my time. So when I have my driver is driving me to work. Why do I have my driver? Not because I cannot drive. I'm buying back time. So I can do something else while he's driving me to work. When he's bringing me back home, I can do something else. When I ask somebody to do some other things for me at work, it's not because necessarily I can't do some of those things, but when that person shows up with his own skill, I am buying back my time so that I can do something else while he use part of his own time and get money from it and still do that. So wealth creation is not about selling your time, it's about buying back your time and selling time. So I'm in the business of selling time, not selling my time. So what does that mean? It's in the concept of time collapse. It means that wealthy people and wealthy businesses don't sell their time, they sell time. And how do they do that? When you look at subscription-based businesses, when you look at cable TVs, they don't really sell their time to you. They sell time to you. And this concept changed my life because what does that mean? It means that the moment you subscribe for a program for 30 days, what happened is that they are selling you time because it's renewable. Yeah. After the 30 days, you pay another money. They're selling time. When I rent you my apartment and you pay for 1 month, I've not sold you the apartment. I've sold you time to use it for 30 days. After 30 days, I am going to collect my apartment back from you. Yeah. And then when I lease my car to you for 30 days, that means I've not sold my car to you. I have leased my car to you. The truth of the matter is when you have a book, you have not sold your knowledge to the person. Yeah. You have only leased your knowledge to that person because the knowledge is still with you. The book you sold, you still have it. Yeah. And so what happened is that every entrepreneur that is not thinking about buying time and collapsing time is going to labor for a lot of time and not making so much with his own life. So I believe so much in time collapse, and I believe so much if you live in Nigeria and you are almost 40, from 30 and above, and you are not thinking about how to collapse time and how to buy back your time, you will get to 60 years old and look as if you have wasted your life because time is life.
So, there's this saying that there are a lot of things your certificates will not be able to get you, but one good relationship can get you those things. There are a lot of doors you will not ordinarily be able to walk into, but one good relationship can take you through those doors and all of that. When it comes to nurturing and cultivating like good relationships, how do you do that yourself?
It's very important to know that life itself is about relating. And so if life is about relating, you need to find that understanding that if I don't relate with people, if I don't know how to be resourceful to people, I tell people relationship is more about you being a person of value, someone that is worth knowing. And many people want to know someone that worth something, but then they are not bringing anything of worth to the person. So I tell people, build relationship, but always be known as someone with an impression of increase when you show up anywhere. So you're contributing something. You are someone that when people see you around, your being around will change their life. People do things for you for their own reason. People even relate with you for their own reason. So when we talk about relationship, we must realize that we must be person of value at every point in time. Yeah. So many times people talk about, you have to have networks, you have to do this. When you go there and when you're trying to be person of value, go with the mindset of giving, not taking. And say, what can I contribute to this person's life? And when the guy that's in the studio with me today, met me, he came. I never knew that he was that young. He only saw me on a podcast, and then he sent me a message. And the message really got me. What was the message? He said, "Sir, I just want to see what I can do for you, all right? And how we can help you with, whether your social media and all of that." And I said, I was just fascinated. That day I was in the office. I just said, okay, you should come. And he came. And he literally started telling me about what he can do for me. That's why I also need me in his life. But what he never came with his needs. Yeah. it came with a seed. And like, oh, I can do something. And when I heard of his age, I was fascinated. I said, okay. I told my head of operation at the time, I said like, oh, this young guy just came to my office today. I think we should put him into something. Let's see what he can do. And that relationship has expanded to almost like 6 years now.
Beautiful.
But you know what happened? The truth of the matter is, if it was like every other person at that moment, thinking about what to get from me, there would never have been a relationship, because I would have treated him as a burden, as a liability, and then as someone that's just a parasite that is coming here to just lick me up, and then I will run away. So many times it's a template. Always go thinking about what to give. And every relationship in my life, what I do is I meet with you, and I love what you're doing. I know I have a lot to learn from you, but my first goal is not what I want to learn, it's what I want to give. So I go from what can I give to this person? Oh, this person is doing this stuff. How can I help this person? Someone in Nigeria, right here, one time many years ago, a mentor of mine, I wanted to learn how to do public speaking from him. Praise for Wowe, precisely. And I drove Praise for Wowe for 1 year in my own car, for a whole year. Following him to event, fueling my own car. You know what? Never complained one moment. But guess what happened? That singular experience of being with him at different meetings, at different times, really changed my life, changed me. I saw the way he make his presentation. I saw the way, he does his stuff. I would follow him. I would drive him. I found it an honor. And that opened a couple of other doors to me. He introduced me to people. Yeah. But guess what? I didn't go there to want to say, oh, sir, sorry, I would like you to mentor me. Those words these days are quite funny.
That's scary.
No, but the truth is, think about what you can give. Think about, today, even make recommendations for me. You tell people, oh, if you want to do this training, call this guy. You know what? But I was willing to serve. He did not force it on me. He did not cajole me. He did not try to do anything. Just, sir, I can make myself available. I have a car. I can drive you. Okay, don't worry. I'm not asking for anything. And he gave me, you call me, I will go. But guess what happened? It's one of many. That's how I build relationship. I go to my mentor, the one I call my billionaire mentor. Guess what? I will go there. I knew he has money to buy anything he wants to do in his life, but my little money, I will buy him stuff. I will take it to his office. And one day he said to me, Tade, you are always good to me. In case you need anything, and you need my name for something, and you can't get me on the phone, put my name on it. He said that to me. That means more than giving me $1 million at the time. So what that means is, he said to me, Tade, every time you show up in my life, you're always good to me. Why did he say that to me? Because I did not look at him. Now, this is a man that I met when I was broke, and I was a joke, and I was just going everywhere. And he had the money. I would have said, this man, why can't this man just give me this money? Huh? I'm a young guy. You should just give me money and let me go and find my way. No, I wanted to learn what makes him rich. And then when I had little money, I was willing to make a contribution. It's not about the size of what you give, it's about the thoughtfulness. Always start a relationship with a thought of giving, not a thought of getting. And the moment someone have that mindset, it becomes easier to build quality relationship. Yeah. Because you are not going to just go about. There are people I know today that I've been doing things for them. And I know they can do those things for themselves. And I've never demanded anything from them. Yes, I know there will be a time I could need it. But what happened is that I value this person. I know I need this person in my space. But first and foremost, let me put my need aside. What can I also do to move this person to the next level? If that is not done, relationship, it's very important on the journey. Because we're running a kind of business right now. We're getting a kind of funding in business right now because of relationship that I built. Now, when I was building that relationship, it was scary because I will do some things in the course of that relationship that even my people around me will say, sir, you are being stressed for doing this thing. But I was just doing it. I didn't even know what's going to come out of it, but I just value this person. I never knew that the next phase of my career, the next phase of my scaling is inherent in the information that the person have access to. But then when that happened, it changes everything. And the person was willing to go that length for me because when this relationship started, it's not parasitic in nature. I was willing to give with all honor. So build relationship. It's important in business, important in life, but always come as a giver, not just a taker. There will be a time where you will take, But when you are taking, you will take with all honor, and you will not be apologetic because you have sown in that relationship. So that's what it is for me.
That's beautiful. So over the course of this episode, I've been talking a lot about sales, making money, making big money, and all that. Now, from our starts here, a lot of people that watch this podcast are in their 20s and 30s. There is another minority of people from their 40s to 60s that watch the podcast and all that. So, but majorly young entrepreneurs watch this podcast. So we're here, we're selling, we're making money. How do we grow that money to ensure that we are building sustainable wealth?
Okay, it's very important. There are two sides to money. There is an earning side and there is an investing side. Many a time, a lot of people they get good at making money, earning money, but they never get good at investing the money. We must balance both, because for you to have financial success, you must be able to make money and you must be able to invest money. So what is investing all about? Investing is about multiplication and protection. So there is a lot of time people talk about investing as if it was just about multiplying money. No, investing is also about protecting what you have made. So when it's not just about multiplying it, it's also about protecting it. Because I tell people jokingly that we have all heard about the story of grass to grace. But you see, it is easier to go from grace to grass than to go from grass to grace. So many people get to the pinnacle and they go down, they collapse. What happened? Because they have never protected what they have made. So make money, but also learn how to invest. Investing is a profession. Now, when I mean a profession, it doesn't mean you have to go to school. You have to study it. You have to understand what you're doing. You have to take part of what you are earning with your strength and begin to earn more money with it with a system. And that's what we call an asset. You have to create an asset that is protected, that can make money for you beyond you. And so multiplication, you must be able to make money and also multiply the money you have made. And that's what investing is all about. So people in the 20s, 30s, what is the best time to invest the money you're making? Number one, invest part of the money again into ability to make more money. So when you are making more money, therefore, that more money that you're making now, begin to put it into something that can make money besides you, outside of you, in spite of you. And then protect that money. Learn if you have to learn. Don't be in a hurry to want to multiply the money you're making. Master the skill of earning the money. Then begin to build. At a time in my life, I think this is a first podcast I'm going to be saying that at the time in my life, I made a lot of money. And when I was 29 years old, I lost a lot of money. I lost almost like 500 million naira in Nigerian currency at that time, which is almost like $3 million US. You know what? And this is just me that made money. But how did I lose the money? It was in how I was trying to invest the money. I have started learning how to make money. Then I thought making money and investing money is the same. It was an error. Investing money is different from making money. So while you are making money, start also learning how to invest the money you are making. Because if you don't invest the money you are making, there are many financial serial killers in the world that want to take away what you have sweat for, what you have labored for, and take it away from you easily and cheaply. And so you have to protect yourself, and to be able to do something in your life. So that's very key.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful. See, we'll have another episode of this podcast because there's still like a lot to talk about.
Awesome.
Just to wrap it up, when people watch these shows, they see two people, these people they know a lot, they are successful, they are making money, everything was going on smoothly in their life. And so my question to you, and this is going to bring out your human side a little now, is right now in your life, what are you still trying to figure out?
Okay. Yeah, a couple of things I'm trying to figure out. The truth of the matter is, life is, failing is tested. And the part is, if you say that you are not, for instance, in business right now, I'm working on some projects, and you have an estimation, and if you say that, I'm gonna spend X and Y money on this project, and at the end of the day, you have spent that X and Y money and you have not finished the project, and then you look as if on the surface as if you're stuck, and you're figuring out, what is the next thing? So there are challenges, there are things as running the business. For instance, I'm figuring out how to build a business with a strong, team loyalty right now. You know, and I tell someone, I said, I stopped building business with staff. I've started building business with disciples. You know, because it's only a team that becomes a disciples that can scale a business. And I studied that in the life of religion patterns. Jesus had 12 disciples. And then when he left after 3.5 years of running the Simile enterprise, the business scale. Why staff don't scale a business? Disciples scale a business. Why? Because disciples means they believe what you believe and they do what you do, and many a time they will take it to the next level when you left it. So what that means is that you must turn your team members to a disciple. I'm still trying to figure that out. I've not totally figured it out totally. You know, so I'm learning how to build the disciples. I'm learning how to build people that, you know, they can clone Tade Cash. You know, Tade Cash is a killer closer on the continent. You know, I tell people that and I'm not boasting, and if I boast, is a proof. You know, okay. You know, the point is that I know how to close deals. I know how to sell on stage. I know how to do all of those things massively. But what happened is that I don't just want to be the guy that just know how to close on stage. I don't just want to be the guy that know how to sell. I want to be the guy that raised thousands and tens of thousands of people. And when you get into our organizations and you are looking at this guy and say, this guy look like Tade Cash. Huh?
No.
This guy look like him. Why? That is the definition of a disciple. It is not me, but his mannerism and his approach, his thinking, you know, his way of getting results is like Tade Cash. So that means Tade Cash can say, because you have come to me, greater works than these shall you do. Therefore, I have scale. Why? Because you can do what I can do now. And therefore, it's a process. I'm learning how to raise $2 billion in 1 year right now. I'm learning how to do that. You know, it's one of the challenges I'm facing in business, because I realize that you don't just work for money, you raise money.
Yeah.
Yes, that's one of the things I'm learning.
This has been one very, very insightful session. In fact, we're going to do that now. But thank you very much for coming on this. I'm going to ask you, people are watching this now and they want more of Tade Cash. How do they get that?
Okay, so basically people can get more of Tade Cash by either going to YouTube at Tade Cash TV and see some of other things, just like you're watching this right now, you know, and then they can watch or be on social media. They can follow Tade Cash on either Facebook or official Tade Cash on where again? Instagram, you know, and so or X, they can follow Tade Cash on all of those places, you know. So, and that's how we can connect and still keep the conversation going.
How about your books?
Yeah, my books also can be gotten. When they follow Tade Cash, they will definitely see some of the ways of getting Tade's book, or also get Tade books on either on Amazon, wherever, you know, they want to get it. You just search for Tade, or go on tadecash.com.ng. They will find Tade Cash and they can buy his book. They can buy my books right there.
Beautiful.
Yes.
Beautiful. Go to tadecash.com.ng.
Yeah.
In fact, there's going to be a link displayed on the screen right now, and there's going to be a link in the description of this video as well. So make sure that you go get those books. Just imagine how this short time has been. Imagine how valuable those books will be to you when you get them. All right. Thank you very much, everybody, once again, for tuning into the Entrepreneurs Connect Show. Come your way again. Same channel next week. Can you tell them to subscribe to the channel right now?
So, ladies and gentlemen, subscribe to which of the channels?
This is the channel that Joseph done. The show is the Entrepreneurs Connect Show.
Entrepreneurs Connect Show, it's where you need to be. You remember, if you are not connected, you cannot collect. So if you want to collect it, you have to be connected. So connect to Entrepreneurs Connect Show.
If you are not connected, you cannot collect it.
So let's see you there. Oh, good.
All right. Thank you very much.
Oh, great,
Yes.
great.
All right.